The banking collapse nobody saw coming. Out of cash, out of time. Something terrifying is happening behind closed doors. The world's biggest banks, the same ones that promised your money was safe, are quietly running out of cash. Money markets are flashing red. Liquidity is vanishing. And for the first time since 2008, whispers of a global bank run are echoing through the financial system. If this continues, your debit card might stop working, not because you did anything wrong, but because the system itself is dying. This isn't fear-mongering. This is what the charts are screaming, and the insiders are hiding. So, let's peel back the curtain, because once you understand what's really happening, you'll never look at your bank balance the same way again. 1. The silent alarm. A few days ago, something strange appeared in the global money markets, those invisible networks where banks lend each other short-term cash to stay liquid. The rates suddenly spiked. And when that happens, it means one terrifying thing. No one trusts anyone anymore. Think of the financial system as a heart. Cash is the blood. When that blood stops circulating, the organs start dying. First slowly, then all at once. Right now, the heartbeat of the system is skipping. JP Morgan, Bank of America, Citi. They all rely on overnight funding to survive. But suddenly, that liquidity just isn't there. Behind the polished headlines, the alarm bells are deafening. Repo markets freezing. Treasury yields in chaos. Central banks secretly injecting billions just to keep the illusion of calm. It's the financial equivalent of a patient in cardiac arrest. The defibrillator is on, but the pulse is fading. Segment 2. The hidden truth they won't tell you. You see, most people don't realize that banks don't actually hold your money. When you deposit your paycheck, it doesn't sit in a vault waiting for you. It's loaned out, multiplied, and repackaged 100 times over. It's called fractional reserve banking, and it means that for every $100 you deposit, the bank might hold just $3 or $4 in actual cash. So, what happens when everyone wants their money back at once? Exactly. The bank collapses. We saw it with Silicon Valley Bank. We saw it with Credit Suisse. And now, even the giants are trembling. JP Morgan, the so-called Fortress Bank, has quietly admitted it's hoarding liquidity. They're not lending, they're stockpiling, because they know what's coming. The public doesn't see the internal panic. They just see glossy ads saying, "Your money is safe." But behind those ads are boardrooms filled with fear and spreadsheets that tell a very different story. Segment 3. The domino effect. When cash runs out at the top, it doesn't stay hidden for long. The shockwaves move fast, through businesses, payrolls, pensions, and even grocery stores. Imagine this. You wake up one morning, try to withdraw 200 pounds, and the ATM says, temporarily unavailable. You try again. Nothing. Then, your bank app goes down. Your card declines at the gas station, and within 24 hours, panic spreads. Supermarkets stop accepting card payments. People rush to withdraw cash. And the banks, the ones with those billion-dollar skyscrapers, shut their doors. It sounds like a movie, right? But it already happened. In Cyprus, 2013. In Lebanon, 2019. In Argentina, again and again. Each time, governments swore it couldn't happen there. Until it did. And now, the same warning lights are flashing in the West. Segment 4. The Great Liquidity Trap. Central banks are trapped. If they cut rates to save the system, inflation explodes again. If they keep rates high, the bond markets collapse and the banks implode. It's a lose-lose scenario. That's why the Fed, the ECB, and the Bank of England are quietly preparing emergency liquidity facilities. It's just a fancy phrase for printing money in the shadows. They'll call it temporary support. They'll say it's not a bailout. But you and I know exactly what it is. A silent monetary rescue of a system that's already bankrupt. The illusion of stability depends on one thing: confidence. And once that confidence cracks, even slightly, it's over. Because faith, not cash, is what keeps banks alive. And right now, that faith is evaporating faster than ever. Segment 5. The real victims. Who pays for this collapse? Not the bankers, not the politicians, not the central bankers who created this mess. You do. When inflation eats your savings, when interest rates crush your mortgage, when your pension fund takes temporary losses. Every crisis is a transfer of wealth, from the poor and the middle class, straight into the hands of the elites who own the system. They'll tell you it's complex, that you wouldn't understand the financial plumbing. But it's actually very simple. They gamble with your money, they lose, then they make you pay to rebuild their casino. The digital cage. And here's the dark twist most people don't see coming. Once cash disappears, they'll introduce something new: central bank digital currencies. They'll say it's for your convenience. They'll promise security, stability, and innovation. But make no mistake, this is the next phase of control. A world where every transaction is tracked, every purchase monitored, every movement scored. And if you say the wrong thing or buy the wrong product, your access can be shut off. That's not science fiction. It's already being tested. The same governments that told you 2 weeks to flatten the curve will tell you it's just a digital dollar. And by the time you realize it's a digital prison, it'll be too late. What comes next? So, what happens now? The warning signs are everywhere. Repo markets breaking, banks hoarding cash, central banks preparing emergency facilities, and money markets screaming liquidity crisis. The collapse has already begun, just slowly enough that most people don't notice. But here's the truth. When this system finally breaks, it won't be gradual. It'll be instant. One weekend, one announcement, and by Monday morning, everything changes. The banks will say, temporary closure. The media will say, technical issue. The government will say, remain calm. And that's when the reset begins. Conclusion. This is not financial advice. This is a warning. The same way storms give off thunder before the lightning hits, the markets are warning us now, loudly. The question is, will you listen? Don't trust the headlines. Don't wait for permission to prepare. Because when the cash runs out, freedom runs out with it. Hold real assets, build real skills, and most of all, keep your eyes open. I'm Felix with Mindful Money and Meals, and this has been your wake-up call. Stay awake, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one, if the banks are still open. See you next time.